We're going to go over the third chakra in this video. Let me just switch to screen sharing really quickly. Okay, so we've done the first and the second chakra. Now we are on the solar plexus. In Sanskrit, the term is Manipura. Mani stands for jewel or gem, and Pura stands for dwelling place. So it translates into city of jewels or luxurious gem. The location is between the navel and the base of the sternum in the solar plexus area of the body. The color vibration is yellow. The key job is willpower, personal power, the mental mind / the intellect. The element is fire. Identity is your relationship with yourself, which would be your ego. So here's some more information about the chakra. It is the main distribution center of the entire chakra system. It mediates between the external characteristics of the first and second chakra, like your physical appearance and activities, and your emotions and creative expression. And it mediates between the internal processing of your rational mind, your intellect. Because it is about your mental intelligence, balancing the intellect between rational and analytical with the spiritual consciousness is its main job, its main goal. And when it's not balanced, it just means that people can become irrational or overly analytical. And many of us who have grown up in today's world, we've been overly analytical, meaning we are thinking as we experience rather than simply experiencing and kind of working through it afterwards. The sacral is more so about being in the present and just being open to the experiences that present themselves. And when the solar plexus are imbalanced, it takes you out of the moment and keeps you kind of stuck in the rational mind. So it governs commitment to your boundaries, your personal code of ethics. And boundaries are things like what is okay and what isn't okay, what you say yes to and what you say no to. So if you're not able to stay committed to your boundaries, then the chakra is more than likely shut down. Similarly, when you don't hold true to your integrity, which means you betray yourself by not doing what you know to be right, your solar plexus can be underactive, not operating efficiently and optimally. Your ego and personal relationship with yourself develops in this chakra. So remember, the first chakra is about your relationship with your tribe, your family, culture, society. It's how you perceive yourself through them. And then the sacral is about one-on-one relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, just anything that's one-on-one. And again, the solar plexus are about your personal relationship with yourself. So if you find that you're overly critical towards yourself, if you have harsh things to say to yourself, if you're not doing loving acts towards yourself, that has to do with your personal relationship with yourself, which is stored in the solar plexus. So it's also about accepting and evolving the ego, not judging it or repressing it. You're working in harmony with the self-preservation energy of your being. The spiritual goal is self-control, self-mastery, positive actions and behavior, to have vitality and experience your personal power in harmony with all. And just a quick note, if the solar plexus are too strong, they will not allow you to honor the sacral, which is creative expression. So sometimes people are wondering where their creative blocks are, and they focus on the sacral a lot, which is fine. However, sometimes it is actually in the solar plexus, because the solar plexus, again, are about self-control, and it can become too controlling when you're not allowing expression to be spontaneous. The function is, again, your willpower, personal power, and also self-confidence, self-esteem, self-value, self-respect, individualization, meaning who you are separate from the whole, or distinct from the whole rather, because we're not separate, we're still all interconnected. Clarifying your true life goals and following through on higher/spiritual ideals. So here are some imbalances that happen with the solar plexus for your own self-assessment. When it's underactive, issues concerning self-responsibility, so that means they blame everybody else, they never take accountability for themselves, low self-esteem, feeling like you're never good enough, caring for others at the expense of self. A lot of women especially were taught to do this, and also people in the spiritual community, they were taught to give, and not receive. That is an imbalance of the solar plexus, where you just kind of bend to everybody else's whim. And if you notice that your posture is bent forward, that can mean you're crushing your solar plexus and you're maintaining a state that is disharmonious to who you actually be. Fear of rejection, oversensitivity to criticism, using fear to control other people. And generally how this reveals itself is if someone says, oh, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I can't do this, I can't do this. And they need someone to kind of coddle them, or they don't pressure them or motivate them to do certain things because they say that they're fear. It's like a scapegoat mentality. I'm so fearful, so don't expect much from me, which goes back to the self-esteem. Absent-minded, afraid of being alone, suspicious or skeptical of everyone and everything, secretive, detached, confused, cynical, thrifty, or a penny pincher in a way that is disharmonious because it's nice to be frugal. Inferiority complex, everyone's better. Overactive can be volatile energy, angry, critical, perfectionism, caring for oneself at the expense of others. So that means when someone becomes very self-centered. Argumentative, intolerant, pessimistic, self-centered, unfeeling, numb, controlling, and not just controlling of themselves, but other people. Manipulative, exaggerates things, overcompensates with material things. The solar plexus have to do with the flight mentality and the fight mentality. So if you see someone just doing, like the workaholic, if they are avoiding things that they have caused in their life, problems that they've caused, they might seem very, very proficient, very, very good at what they're doing. But in fact, their solar plexus are disharmonious because they're running away from their problems by being consumed with their work. Okay? And the other thing with being argumentative, it can be when the person is kind of overcompensating, they're hiding their inferiority complex. So they just argue with everyone to kind of prove it wrong, prove it wrong that they are inferior, rather than just accepting and knowing that they aren't inferior and they don't have to prove themselves. The spiritual goal, and this is when it's balanced and functioning optimally: complete self-acceptance, self-esteem, self-worth, vitality, self-control, self-mastery, self-resiliency, follow-through, active, determination, discipline, hopefulness, good humor, clear thoughts, satisfaction, and vulnerability. That means you can actually share with other people. You can be real, you can be authentic, and know that no matter what the reaction is, you're still good. So you see that there's a lot of self-control, self-mastery, a lot of self. And again, it's because this is the chakra that has to do with your relationship with yourself. Moving on to the language that best balances this chakra. As a reminder, every chakra has its language it communicates best with and understands best. If you haven't noticed improvements with a given chakra, it may be because you're communicating with it in a language it does not understand. So mental information through verbal data and visual data is the best language to communicate with the third chakra, as well as your sense of sight. When it comes to mental data, that can be reading or journaling. And a lot of people underestimate how important journaling is. Journaling is really good because it gets you to really know yourself. It's like taking yourself on a self-date. So self-loving acts like dating yourself, treating yourself to things are all great for the solar plexus. For the mental mind, though, journaling is great. So you can journal about your day, yourself, your desires, what you experienced in life, whatever you want. And let's see, let's move down. Visualization through imagination is great for visual data. You can use your imagination through attending an acting or storytelling class, or just playing imagination, bringing out the kid in you again, or you can actually play that with kids. I've never lost my ability to be like Peter Pan and imagine things that aren't physically there. And I feel like that really helps me stay connected to the spiritual side of me. So viewing positive things, like positive things on TV, or loving art, going to like an art museum, or viewing your favorite type of art online, those are great with stimulating the mind and balancing the solar plexus. Engaging in mental sparring with different forms of thinking and thinking techniques is optimal for balancing and developing this chakra. So I've posted below some different types of thinking, and I would encourage you to go to the websites posted below it so that you can get more information about it. One of the thinking techniques that I have used for many, many years is the six hat Bono type of technique. I'm trying to remember exactly how to express it. I'll just go off of how I remember it. So basically, you remain detached from all type of conclusions, and you just try on different thoughts, different ideas for however long you want to hold that idea, and then you discard it and you put on another hat. Discard that one and put on another hat. And it really just allows you to be in a state of expression, a state of learning about how other people view things, how you would view it if you were in their point of view. It just keeps you very well-rounded. So there's a lot more with the Bono, B-O-N-O, six hat technique. I would encourage you to Google it. Lots of information out there. So those are great for communicating with the solar plexus. Of course, posture, just like with the root chakra, is important as well. So pay attention to your body stances. Lastly, are some physical products that help to balance out the solar plexus. Dead sea salt is great. The yellow color bath, the color energy is great. You can put in a foot bath or a bath and you'll take on the vibration of the yellow. A yellow citrine gemstone is great. Citrine is also orange for many people, but for the solar plexus, you want it to be yellow. And then an essential oil blend of, I believe, grapefruit. One second. Grapefruit and rosemary. And rosemary is stimulant. It stimulates the mind. So it's really good to have the solar plexus if they're it's good to have the solar plexus with rosemary if they're underactive. So that's the additional information. You can also have these wax candles to help stimulate and balance the mind. Remember, when you're manifesting, your mind can tend to stray to all these different ideas, but when you light them with an intention of what your thought is, the thought of what you want to create, it helps to hold that thought for however long it is balancing, or sorry, however long it is burning. It'll hold the vibration of the thought that you give it for however long it burns. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so that concludes for today. I will be doing the heart chakra, Anahata chakra, probably 2 weeks from now. And who knows, I might be able to do it 1 week from now. Many blessings to all of you. Keep being vital and shine on.